my folder, and I think for those new members, it will be a good example of what you have ahead of you, which is the Icebreaker. About a month or two ago, I gave this speech here at Toastmasters, and I am going to give it again tonight. So, timer, take it away. Amongst the comic strips and cartoons on my office door, there's a quote by Eleanor Roosevelt. Every day when I get to work, I see a poster that says, "The purpose of life is to live it, to taste experience to the utmost, to reach out eagerly and without fear for newer and richer experiences." This quote means a lot to me because I know firsthand how much it means to reach out for newer, richer experiences. I spent the first quarter of my life in a comfort zone where I concentrated only on the things I knew I was good at. And in the process, I missed out on many experiences. But then one event changed everything. I ran a 5K race. Now, to understand why this was such a big accomplishment, you have to understand that for a long time, I saw the world as nerds versus jocks. In high school, the only class that put my GPA in danger was gym class. I was too busy with Model UN, mock trial, French club, and academic challenge / scholastic bowl to even think about sports. This attitude mostly stuck through college. Every once in a while, I would go to the gym or jog the bike path, but it would only be a couple days before I would decide that it was too cold, or I had too much to do, or I just didn't feel like working out, and then I'd be back to my old routine of telling myself and others that I exercised my mind enough. I didn't need to exercise my body too. So what happened? How did the girl who almost failed gym class because she couldn't run a mile find herself in a 5K race, which is 3.2 miles? I practiced, and I learned to leave my comfort zone. It all started shortly after I graduated from Ohio University. I was suffering from the same existential crisis that affects many graduates. I just didn't know what I wanted to do with my life. My degree in English wasn't working out as well as I had hoped. The only job I managed to find in Cleveland was that of a telemarketer. But since I was terrible at it, I wasn't making enough money. It was looking like I was going to have to move back home with my parents. The bad telemarketing job and the impending move back home all spelled out failure to me. I was in what felt like a permanent bad mood, and I needed something to bring me out of my funk, so I decided to start jogging. I put on some tennis shoes, and on that first day, I walked more than I jogged to the park down the street. And the next day, I jogged a little bit more, and soon I wasn't walking at all. Before I knew it, I was easily running a mile. I had raced right out of my comfort zone and was doing something I never thought I would be able to do. For the first time in my life, I experienced what it was like to succeed at something I wasn't naturally good at. I could get A's and B's in school no problem, but running took lots of effort, and I came to the conclusion that the more effort you put into something, the better it feels to succeed. But I have to confess that my success wasn't entirely my own doing. You see, before I started running, one of my biggest fears was looking stupid in front of people who knew what they were doing. But as I started running, I met athletes who were completely supportive of my newfound interest. Rather than looking down on me, they offered help and guidance. It turns out that my fears of looking stupid were completely unfounded. What I hadn't taken into account was that everybody starts somewhere, and the people who helped me understood what it was like to be a beginner. The support of these people made it possible for me to realize that I was capable of running a 5K. I registered, I showed up, and I ran my very first race. And I even placed in my age group. But then, my life began to change in other ways. I started to pay attention to what I was eating, because after working so hard, I didn't want to ruin my accomplishments with unhealthy snacks and meals. And I started to have more confidence in myself, because I realized that I didn't need to fear failure, but embrace opportunity. So embracing opportunity is what I did. I began to try other new things. I got an MLIS in library science. I left all of my friends and family, and even my boyfriend, to move to Virginia for a year. I joined a French conversation group to improve my French. Then I moved back to Ohio for a job, and I joined Toastmasters. All of these experiences have taught me two things. First of all, I have learned how exciting it is to live life to its fullest and to reach out eagerly and without fear for new experiences. Secondly, I have learned how important supportive people are in this process. The first time I went to a French conversation group, I was afraid to speak. Mon français c'est très mal. My French is very bad, I would say. But the other members would assure me that it was okay and that the only way I was going to get better was to practice. And they were right. By the end of my time in Virginia, I had greatly improved my French. This is my first speech here at Toastmasters. In the audience, I see Toastmasters who have given many more speeches than I have. But I know they all started here in front of a Toastmasters lectern with an Icebreaker speech just like me. And I know that they are all going to help and support me in my goal to become a better public speaker. And most of all, I know that I know that I am capable of becoming a great public speaker, because after all, if I can run a 5K, I can do anything.